Gasoline is proudly brought to you by the following sponsors. Coming up on tonight's episode,
to keep the heat in that pipe, it actually speeds up exhaust gas velocity.
The item gets put back onto the plating line, goes through the nickel, through the chrome, and comes out of the water rinse like that, and that's when you get your lovely chrome finish.
3.6 litre liquid cooled supercharger. Underneath this baby there's a radiator.
We do standard fitments for Tri-5 Chevy, Mustang, Camaro and a lot of American muscle cars.
Run the camshaft in. When the customer picks this up, it's ready to put in the vehicle and drive straight away.
I'm Michael Curson, the producer, creator of Gasoline. Hope you enjoy.
We're down at Modern Plating in Oakleigh in Victoria. Now when it comes to automotive plating, these guys know a thing or two. They've been in the industry for over 50 years. There's a whole wealth of knowledge amongst these veterans in here. They do everything from nickel to chrome plating. They do stainless steel polishing and repairs. They even do ceramic coating. So let's go inside and see how it's all done. Ceramic coating. Some of you enthusiasts out there may have heard of it before. But in a nutshell, it's a thermal barrier coating, also a protective coating, and can be used in all sorts of applications in the automotive field. Like this exhaust system here, these set of extractors. Basically what it does, it coats the pipe. The pipes are prepared first and then it goes through a process. What you do by coating these pipes is you keep heat retention in the pipe. There's a couple of benefits there. Number one, it keeps the thermal temperatures down in your engine compartment, which is great. Doesn't melt everything and also helps produce more power at the intake. The other thing it does too is it keeps the heat within the pipe. You get that retention. And it's been proven over the years in many race applications that to keep the heat in that pipe, it actually speeds up exhaust gas velocity. You may have seen pipes before that have been wrapped in some type of thermal wrapping. That's all great and does have the same effect, but what happens there is it actually corrodes the pipe underneath the wrap, and those pipes are going to be gone in no time. So this is by far the best option. You can use it on all sorts of applications, not only for thermal protection, but also for appearance. There's even a clear coating that can actually protect chrome. It stops chrome from bluing and going off after it's been through a heat cycle. Also pistons. On the top of a piston, a thermal barrier to try and keep heat in the combustion chamber and make more heat energy and more power. So let's go and have a look at the processes and see how this is done. Now the first step with ceramic coating is to make sure that the component is 110% prepared. It goes into this great big sandblasting machine here and is totally blasted inside and out, top to bottom, to get it to that nice fresh raw state of the material. The last thing you want is some sort of contaminant underneath to spoil the coating process. So let's go across to the spray booth now and see the coating process take place. This is where the coating process takes place, in this dedicated booth here. You can see this great big evacuation unit behind that pulls all of those vapours through into a filter. It's also very important to make sure you get an even coating across the component, and of course the right amount. Then it goes to the next process. Let's go and take a look. Now after the coating process, the component goes into this great big oven here. It's then taken up to 330 degrees Celsius. From that period onwards, it stays in there for an hour. It then has to cool naturally before going on to the next process. This can vary depending on the component's application, but a minimum of 330 degrees is what is required. Now, after the curing process and the component has naturally cooled, it goes into this great big rumbler here, or shaker, depending on what you want to call it. This thing is full of ceramic balls. In fact, about $20,000 worth of these little ceramic balls. The component goes in there, it's fully immersed in it. Then a cutting compound also goes in with it. The rumbler is switched on, and as it immerses around and rumbles around, it actually polishes the component. Comes out looking all nice and beautiful and shiny. As you can see, here's the component straight out of that shaker. Doesn't it look so beautiful, polished and shiny? Another advantage to with ceramics is you can also utilise different colours, blacks, silvers and various other colours. Now the next stage is to get this component and bolt it on the vehicle.
With restoration work, the most important part of it is getting it prepared right before plating, and that happens all in here. As you can see, the bumper bars get straightened up, everything gets fine-tuned, all the surface has to be correct before it goes up the plating line and gets plated. Once the bar first comes in, it comes over to this bench here and it has to match up a pattern. Once the bar has matched up the pattern, it's pretty much all right to get repaired. This is the final stage prior to polishing, and that's grinding off any marks that have been left there with the repairs. The bar has to be 100% before it goes to the polisher, because once it goes up on the plating line, it's like putting a mirror to it when the final result comes out and anything will show up. So this is a very important process. Once the bars have been finally repaired and everything matches up, they come into this room where they get polished, which is the final stage before electroplating. So it has to be done right, has to be smooth, has to be a mirror finish. Another part of modern plating's business is doing exhaust stacks for your major trunking mobs like Kenworth and Volvo. With these particular parts, they have to be polished right from the beginning. There's no copper that goes on this, so it has to be a mirror finish prior to electroplating. Just another thing we do in modern plating.
And don't forget, viewers, to look up the all-new Shannons Club. Shannons Club is a huge site. It's like a hub for enthusiasts. You jump on there. You can start your own garage, put pictures of your cars up there, stories of your cars, videos, you name it. You'll see people like myself on there, Jim Richards. Click on our garages and check out some of our machines and some of our past machines. It's an incredible site. It's growing every day, so get onto it and have a ball. Now, one of the advantages they have here at Modern Plating is the size of the items that they can actually plate. Check out this great big bumper off a truck. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Another part of our business is car restoration work. This being different to bumper bars, there's a bit more of a technical side involved to it and a bit more craftsmanship. As you can see here, everything that's die cast gets rubbed, sometimes has to be solder filled before it goes up the plating line. Once again, same policy applies. If it's not right before polishing, before plating, it ain't going to look good, so it has to be 100% in this section as well. Another important part to our business here is repairings of moulds, whether it be stainless or brass mouldings. With this particular procedure, the repairs have to be done even more than 100% right if there is such a thing, because there is no plating that goes on afterwards. They have to be manually polished to a mirror finish. As you can see, it's all fine repairing getting done. Finally, when the parts have been prepared prior to plating, they all break it up to this bench here. Whether it be die cast, steel, or mouldings, they all come up here for a final inspection before they go up to the plating line. Once again, things have to be 100% right before they get the plating process put on them. Everything's gone well and we've made it to the plating process. This is where everything gets electroplated. It starts on this side of the line down here where you've got all your caustic cleaners, gets cleaned thoroughly, and then makes its way to the different types of metals that get put onto it. What we see here is a bumper bar that's just been freshly copper plated. Once this in turn is done, it gets polished up again and then it'll make it into the nickel and the chrome. So that's the first part of the plating procedure. If everything goes well after the copper, the item gets put back onto the plating line, goes through the nickel, through the chrome, and comes out of the water rinse like that. And that's when you get your lovely chrome finish. Once the parts have come off the plating line, they come to this bench here for the final inspection. If all's well, the parts are packed, wrapped, cleaned, and sent out to the customers.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this guided tour of modern plating as much as I did. It's a great insight to actually see how plating is done. We see chrome bumpers, we see all this stuff on cars all the time, but to get to see how it's done is a magnificent thing. I'm sure you're impressed as much as I was. I'm so impressed that I actually had the guys here do some work for my XY GTHO replica, Project Warhorse, and I can't wait to get this stuff bolted on the car. Things like windscreen wiper motor bodies, nuts and bolts, door locks, door handles, bumpers, indicator bodies, you name it, this stuff looks absolutely superb and I'm very excited.
G'day and welcome to Mustang Motorsport, the home of Mustangs in Australia. Just got this new beautiful Super Snake off the wharf and I'd love to show it to you. So how about we just have a geezer at it and see what I can show you that's special to this car. So this beautiful Super Snake's obviously some of the design ideas were from the 1968 era of the KR, and you'll see the front hood scoop here was to keep cold air into the engine bay and used to feed the big carburettor on the 428 Cobra. And what they've got now is they found in the 2008 car, when they used it as a functional cold air intake, it was causing turbulence with the air cleaner and creating tuning problems at high speed. So they've actually maintained the look, but actually blocked that off so that it's not a functional air scoop anymore. There's a few things that really make me smile, and one of the things about this car is when you pop the hood. Big blower on here, this is Kenny Bell's pride and joy, 3.6 litre liquid cooled supercharger. Underneath this baby there's a radiator, we'll call it to make it simple, and that's water fed by electric pump and has a cooler at the front of the car, so that keeps the temperature down But this baby's also liquid cooled in the housing jackets of the outside of the supercharger, giving it extra cooling and maintaining a constant temperature. So when this is full song on a dyno or out in the street, you can come in here, put your hand on the top of the supercharger and not get burnt. Pretty amazing stuff. So that's where this 800 horsepower is easy to achieve with this particular blower. Well, we're pretty passionate about these Shelbys and all the Mustangs we do, in fact, and at Crossover Car Conversions, we'll turn this into a quality right-hand drive motor car ready for the owner to use on the Australian roads. As you can see in here, a lot of carbon fibre everywhere, Shelby logo. Shelby have allowed me to personally choose how I go about setting these cars up. So all new to this particular car was we've put Carroll Shelby's name in the door. We've put also Alcantara on the side of the seats, so that gives you good grip, because these are the, well, we call them the couch type style sports seat. They also come with a Recaro option as well. So this particular car, obviously the steering wheel's been modified as well, all customised just to this one client's needs and how he would like it. Well, I hope you enjoyed the quick look at this Shelby Super Snake. Can't wait to deliver this out to John Bailey, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Well, here we are back at Rocket Industries once again, so let's go inside and take a look around. Well, viewers, when it comes to gauges and instruments for your vehicle, it's a fantastic era with some fantastic options available. Let's have a chat to Michael Palazzo from Rocket Industries about what we see right here.
Thanks, Glenn. What we're taking a look at today is Classic Instruments' superb range of gauges that they make for different vehicles. They do standard fitments for Tri-5 Chevy, Mustang, Camaro and a lot of American muscle cars. In addition to that, there's also a full range of universal gauge sets in quad gauge, 5 gauge, 6 gauge with the additional tacho, as well as an all-in-one configuration. Now, in addition to that, there's a whole range of different options you can get in regards to the bezels and the glass, whether it's flat or curved. But most importantly, something to take note of is all these gauges are made for Australian conditions in that they're kilometres per hour. The beauty of Classic Instruments, we pretty much cater for all the different styles of cars you want to build, whether it's a traditional hot rod or a high-tech hot rod or a muscle car or a street machine or a custom car. Classic Instruments has got you covered with all the different styles available. Now, in addition to the gauges, Classic Instruments also has a full range of sender units which are included when you buy a gauge set. Now, a great new little feature of their line is SkyDrive. SkyDrive is basically an omnidirectional GPS antenna. Now, to put that in simple terms for you, you no longer require a specialised speedo cable or speedo sender. From the comfort of your garage, you can program your speedo in kilometres an hour, miles per hour, or if you've got a boat, you can do it in knots as well. Now, the way that works is you plug this into any electric speedometer, and with that, with the touch of a signal, it basically reaches up into the sky and grabs a GPS signal, and within a matter of moments, it's calibrated your speedometer. It's that easy. Now, in addition to that, it's got a couple of other great little features in it as well, built into it. Say you've got a speed alert sensor in your vehicle, this unit controls that as well. Or if you want to lock the doors at a certain speed in the car for safety features, it does that as well. So it's just a great little product which has been just recently awarded the SEMA 2011 Best New Product in the hot rod and street machine side of things. So yeah, just something to keep an eye out for.
Creator and sustainer of all the worlds, whether those worlds are known or unknown to mankind.
This little Tirana is owned by a gentleman by the name of Eric Riverland. He's a member of the Tirana Car Club in Victoria. It's been nicknamed the Beast. When it first came to us, it had a disappointing 83 kilowatts, has a 5-speed Toyota gearbox in it. It was a very nice vehicle to drive, but frankly very, very disappointing. He asked us if we could improve the performance of this vehicle. We suggested that we could redo an engine for it, we could do a cylinder head, a camshaft change. He then asked if we could improve the breathing of it externally by the means of putting on a set of Webers instead of the original CD Strombergs. I replied that it was a very good idea, but he's starting to talk about a lot of money. Given that be as it may, he decided to go ahead with the project. It now makes nearly double that kilowatt output, and it's a very, very smart car to drive. This vehicle has a 186 engine in it. There is a number of different configurations you can put into a vehicle like this. You can have a 202 motor, you can have a 186 motor, you can bore the 186 out to 192. Very, very good combination. Inherently, the 202 has a little bit of a vibration in it around the 5,500 RPM mark. The 186 was slightly a better balanced engine for that purpose. We have bored it out 60 thou, obviously fitted triple Weber carburetors to it. This gentleman that owns this car is very prone to having things looking nice, so we spent a lot of time detailing this engine bay and also colour coding things like spark plug leads, and the engine had to be the original colour. Just something that makes the car quite outstanding. As far as the cylinder head goes, we have done for this what we term our high power or top end race type cylinder head for street cars. If we were preparing this for racing purposes, we would have done a lot more work to that cylinder head, but that then becomes a lot more expensive. A cylinder head like this would normally make between 250 270 horsepower in street trim with a street exhaust on it, and that's exactly what this one does. This is the style of work that has become more popular, and we've become more interested in doing this style of work as the popularity has increased. This is a Morris 950 out of a Morris 1000, Morris Minor 1000 that is. 1.25 inch single SU carburettor, very, very mild camshaft, slightly larger valves, but really just a conventional rebuild, and that's the sort of attention to detail that we prefer to give to an engine, so it actually looks presentable as well. This little engine's on a running in stand, so we can now fire this engine up, run the camshaft in. When the customer picks this up, it's ready to put in the vehicle and drive straight away. Here we can see the difference between some of the GMH cylinder heads. That style of cylinder head with the small kidney-shaped type combustion chamber came out of 161, 149, 138s, XU1s. This one came out on 202 Holdens and 186 Holdens, even down to a 179 Holden. The main difference being the size of the combustion chamber. This is a very large chamber to cope with the extra cubes in the engine, so it wouldn't promote detonation and pinging. This style of combustion chamber has the advantage of having a little bit more compression and slightly better breathing capacity. Now, the biggest difference between these two cylinder heads, this being a 202 HQ head, this one here is a genuine XU1 cylinder head casting, something that I haven't seen for probably the last 20 years. Apart from the fact that the cylinder heads are basically the same in their port configuration externally, they still have the round boss cast down past the bolt in the intake port, same as the 202 head. The exhaust ports are identical. They have a little divider between the two centre exhaust ports, which earlier cylinder heads didn't have. The biggest difference is where you can't see it, unfortunately, down the back of the port itself in the valve throat area, which coupled up with a genuine factory oversized intake and exhaust valve, whereas the HQ has a smaller valve fitted to it. That cylinder head is worth a lot of money, and the customer's probably very lucky and very fortunate to still have it. I believe it's for sale, and if anybody wants it, they're more than welcome. Although I've spoken a lot about Holden 6-cylinder heads and indeed 308 heads, we do all sorts of cylinder heads. We do LS1 heads right up to LS6. We do 4V Cleveland, 2V Cleveland, 250 non-crossflow Falcon cylinder heads. We've done a number of those. We do grey motor cylinder heads. We have a number of those in the workshop at the moment. The resurgence in early model vehicle power plants is huge at the moment, and we would like you to be able to take advantage of the knowledge that we have to be able to extract some reasonable horsepower out of your vehicle. Doesn't necessarily have to cost a lot of money. It depends what you want, and we can tailor make a cylinder head package to suit your needs.
Gasoline is proudly brought to you by the following sponsors: